Bomo on the reported civil war with AJ Preller. Those are anonymous reports, so we're fine and we're moving forward and we're both excited about it. To me, I think Bob Melvin is excited about the 2024 season so that he can get done. He can be over this season because this season was just terrible for Bob Melvin, probably having to answer all the questions from the media and have to deal with all of the requests from the players and all that instead of the players just doing whatever Bob wanted them to do, wanted any guy to do. I mean, I'm not saying every Padres player was like that, but there were a lot of Padres players. There were numerous Padres players in there that clearly didn't have the team first mentality right out of the gate. And that was a problem. So Bomel's saying those are anonymous reports. So we're fine. We're moving forward. We're both excited about it. I think Preller's excited about it because he still has a job. I think Melvin's excited about it because he knows that this team's still talented. And he just wants to look forward to next year because this year was bad. But are they both excited about working with each other? Not so sure about that. I think that there's a middle ground here, if this makes sense. It's something in the middle. There's reports about the Civil War, unfixable, but I think it's not like it's the best relationship on planet Earth either. I think it's somewhere in the middle, and I don't think it's right at the middle. Like if there was one, like scale 1 to 10, okay? 1 is Civil War, the relationship. It's absolutely terrible. One of the worst kept secrets in baseball. And then 10 is everything is completely fine. I think it's probably 6, 6.5, maybe 7. So I think the other way. I think it's maybe 4, 4.5, 3.5, where it's not down the middle. It's completely fine. Like, or that's 10, but down the middle, like, no, we're fine. I think it's more on the worst side, but I don't think it's as bad as probably what some sources have said to Kevin Acee, to Dennis Lynn, to Ken Rosenthal, to other sources, right? And, the media, it is their job. Writers, it is their job to get clicks, as people say. But I'm not saying that Kevin Acee and Dennis Lynn and Ken Rosenthal, their reporting was inaccurate because it was probably accurate, right? Like they talked to people in the organization, around the organization. They didn't make up those quotes. So they put them in there that people said, and they put out the story. And there was a lot of research, a lot of sources that were gathered, a lot of reporting from those pieces. And Melvin and Preller obviously weren't really going to comment a whole lot on it. They're not going to give you the full truth of their relationship. And so that's what gets put out, and everything gets painted in a negative light. And that's what happens. I don't think everything is fine. And I think, or maybe things are fine, but fine is not the way I want something to be described as, between the relationship between Preller and Melvin. Melvin. Melvin multiple times now has told the media we're fine. The relationship's fine. He said that in the dugout, I think one of the final homestands of the season, when he was asked about the relationship. It's fine. And then he says here to Bernie Wilson, those are anonymous reports, so we're fine and we're moving forward, blah, blah, blah. We're both excited about it. We're fine that's not the most ringing endorsement of AJ Preller. So some of the stuff that is being reported, I think that's factual. There is something to that. It's not the best relationship. But they're still willing to work together. So I don't think it's the absolute worst relationship either. If it was the absolute worst relationship, then Bob Melvin would find a way to get out of the job. And he'd either retire or go interview for another spot, Angels, Giants, whatever. He'd go interview for another position, right? But I think it also can get worked and patched together, the relationship. When there's $4 million on the line for Bob Melvin, he doesn't want to walk away from that because it's still $4 million. I know he's been in the big leagues for a long time. He doesn't need that money probably, but it's still $4 million. Like, I think we'd love to have $4 million and you can put up being the manager of the team for 1 year. And I don't think he wants to give up on how much talent is in that clubhouse, right? And AJ Preller, he is going to be like the relationship's fine because he doesn't want to have his job be lost. Because I don't know if Peter Seidler is going to want AJ Preller to go hire another manager and let him hire another manager. If it couldn't work out with Bob Melvin, who's it going to work out with, right? You could get along great, like Tingler or Green, but then you don't win. So it didn't work out, right? So what the definition of working out, the relationship working out is you winning, right? I mean, that's at least for the fans, winning. So Preller doesn't want to lose his job. I think it would be it would send a bad message around baseball because Bob Melvin knows a lot of people. If Bob Melvin were to walk away, I think AJ would be like, oh, don't know if there's going to be a ton of interest in this job because that word's going to get around the league because Bob Melvin knows a lot of people in baseball. So I think there were motivations on both sides to make this thing work. Bob Melvin, he's not getting any younger, and there's one of 30 of these jobs, and not all of them has as much talent on this team. Not all of them have Manny, Xander, Soto, and Tatis on this team, and Musgrove and Darvish and Suarez. The talent, Ha-Sung Kim, I could keep going. Cronenworth, could keep going. Not all of them have this much talent on their team. So I think Bob realizes the situation that he's in, $4 million on the table. All right, let's try to work this thing together. I might not love AJ Preller. AJ might not love Bob, but I think it's somewhere near the middle. I don't think it's something where they hate each other, but something's off and they don't love each other. I don't think everything is just completely fine. Like Bob Melvin's saying, like AJ Preller's going to say, like AJ Preller said at his Zoom conference that they have a friendship. He mentioned the word friendship. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. Don't know about that. I don't know about them talking 4 or 5 times a day. He's making it seem like everything is completely fine. I don't buy that. But I also don't buy that it's the worst relationship ever, or else Bob Melvin would have found a way out of it, probably. If it was that bad, he probably would have been out. And he's not. So, and that's the good thing. AJ Preller, there's a lot of people in the town, including myself, that were probably at the point of like, why not make a move? But it's not surprising considering Peter Seidler's health. He doesn't want to have to hire another person to come in, and that changes everything in the organization because they all want to hire their own people. And maybe that guy doesn't want Bob Melvin, and you know, he just didn't want to change this with everything that's going on with him. So it made sense. I understood Preller staying, and I like that Bob Melvin is staying, and hopefully they can come together a little bit better, and the Padres can have a much better season in 2024.